Happy Halloween, Fox Body Freaks. Hey listen, I'm super stoked about this episode. We're going to be changing the look of our instrument gauges from something dull and boring like this and brighten it up to something more like this. So stay tuned. Seriously? Again? Get out! Okay, so everybody knows if you own a 79 to 86 Fox Body Mustang, or a lot of Fords for that matter, that the gauges are backlit. They're perimeter lit from incandescent bulbs behind them lighting up the front. And not only that, but Ford has different translucent plastic caps that go over the gauges, over the bulbs, to make it glow a certain color. In this case, on the 84s through 86, it's red. If you have a 87 up to 93 Fox Body Mustang, the gauges or needles are actually lit up with a bulb behind it lighting up the plastic of the needle itself, and also behind the gauges lighting up the lettering. So it's a little bit more visible, quite a bit more visible, especially if you put LEDs in it. So this video will apply to you as well, and for anybody trying to really just brighten up their interior. I think for us with the 79 to 86 Foxes, it's going to really help a lot more, just because the way the perimeter gauges really lack in lighting up at night. So I drive this Mustang at night, I drive it in the morning. So hopefully you guys can see this. It's not very bright. And as you know me, we've actually tried a couple things to try to make the visibility of these stock gauges a lot better. We replaced the overlay background gauges with the new overlays, and that helped. It helped brighten up the letterings, make the background a little bit blacker and the lettering a little bit wider. So that did make the visibility quite a bit better. We also painted the needles bright orange with new needle paint. That helped, but now we're going to do another step and make it pop. So a company called JDM Astar, out of California, reached out to me and offered to give me a set of bulbs if I video them, do a review on them, and then show you guys what you could do with their bulbs in your Mustang. Just a quick disclosure here, this absolutely is being provided by JDM Astar. This is the first company that's ever reached out to me by any means for anything on my car and has offered to give me anything of theirs as long as I videotape it. I've had a couple of companies offer stereo equipment and some other stuff that I just wasn't interested in. In this case, I was going to buy LEDs anyways. And yeah, so let me tell you a little bit about this company. I'm not going to try to plug them too much. I'm going to make this review 100% honest, and I want to show you guys what this company has offered. But the best thing I can say right now, without even putting these bulbs in, is how much cooperation the company has given with me and back and forth communication through emails and stuff. So I'm really particular about what bulbs go in the car. In fact, I took all the bulbs out, made sure I got all the bulb types, took an inventory of everything, sent it to them, went on their website, found the bulbs that I thought would match the bulbs that I wanted, sent it back to him. He recommended changing that up for various reasons, mainly for longevity. The company, and I can tell you right now, is very genuinely concerned about giving you a product that's going to last a long time. So that being said, before I get into this and I show you this, I'm going to stop talking, I promise. There's two types of bulbs I'm going to be reviewing and showing you guys. One is just the small 194 type bulb, clear white LED. So we're going to see how that looks like with the red filters that are on your stock gauge. So if you buy a whole set of just white LEDs and want to put them in, make it brighter, we're going to see what that looks like. However, the pain in the butt that I am with the company, I was really adamant about getting a bright red LED so that I can remove the filters to make the red more pronounced, more bright red, more vivid. I know just from doing some research that if you put a white LED behind one of these red caps, because it's the bright white, it's going to make your car and your gauges look a little bit on the pink side. At least that's what I've heard. We're going to try it out. The reason why they sent me two sets of bulbs is because they recommend using the smaller ones, and I'll show you here in a second, versus the larger ones, just because of the heat. So if we end up using the heat ones, I will go over this here in a second. They wanted me to basically disclose with you guys that it's not recommended for the company to use these brighter red ones, just because they feel personally that they're too bright to put behind an instrument panel, and that could either cause heat damage to the cluster or overheating of the bulb and causing it to flicker and premature failure. So he sent this to me basically saying, look, you guys, you do what you want, okay, it's your video I guess, but you're going to send it out, and make sure you tell your viewers that, you know, if you do use this, just be cautious that that could happen and they could prematurely wear. So to me, I think that's super cool of JDM that they were even that concerned about the car and you guys and what you guys might potentially order and put in your Mustang. And to try to show you guys the most honest to God review of how different LEDs are going to look in their car, I'm going to film the brightness. I'm going to film the video of in-car shot with the LEDs on and with the regular bulbs on using my DSLR. We're going to set it to a hard set setting on the manual settings. We're going to hard set the f-stop. We're going to hard set the ISO and the shutter speed, and then we're going to film through all stages of the regular incandescent bulbs, the white LEDs, and the bright red LEDs, so you can actually see the difference here. But by all means, gosh, stop talking, Mike. Let's look at this stuff. Alright, let's just get straight to what JDM sent me here. So JDM only offers automotive lighting LED options. And if you go to the website, they've got nothing but LED options and only for cars, which is kind of cool. They pride themselves in the quality. And let's just take a look at what we sent me here. So they've got some of these T10 194 replacement type bulbs, and these are going to be 16 of the T10 white. So these are going to be replacing just your factory bulb that's in it now, the factory incandescents, and we're going to run these just as is without removing the red filter that you see, you know, behind your gauge cluster. Basically, without removing this guy. You can see one of mine have already popped off, and this is already faded and nasty shape, so it's probably going to look pretty pink. But we're going to see how these look. So we're going to pull these things out and replace it with just the white, show you guys what the white looks like inside the car. So they sent me these for the gauge. Then they sent me these guys here, which are going to be your red 194 replacements. So these are 18 SMD lights. So these guys have 18 SMD LEDs on them, and are going to basically be a very, very bright red. These are the ones that the company said if you do end up using these, you know, just make note that these are likely to get kind of hot and could cause some quality issues, I guess, down the road, and may cause some flickering. So use these at your own discretion. I will definitely end up using these in the aftermarket autometer gauges anyways, just because I know it's going to make it quite a bit brighter. And looks like they've also sent me here a dome light replacement. So this guy is this is a 921 15 SMD light. So this guy should be extremely bright. And this is going to go in place of the dome light. Yeah. So check out the quality of this thing, man. So it is pretty cool, and I tell you right now, it is very, very solid. Anyways, it's got a lot of LEDs on it. This thing ought to be very, very bright. And again with this one is also very nicely made. And yeah, it's a pretty cool looking bulb. And again, your T10 194 replacements here. Okay, so here's the incandescent bulb. Okay, not bad. Compare that to the equivalent white LED here from JDM. That's pretty bright. There's quite a bit of difference there, guys. Again, look at the difference between the standard bulb and the JDM bulb. So there you go, it's your standard incandescent and the white LED. So that's quite a bit brighter. Now let's check out the red LED here. Oh yeah, dang, that's bright. That's hard to look at bright. Okay, and this dome light here, let's try this thing out. Oh my god, that's like a camera flash. Holy crap, that's bright. Dude, don't look at that. Don't look straight into this thing. I swear you'll be seeing holy crap. That might be too bright. Damn, that's a dome light. Also, another thing I wanted to notice, or I wanted to show you guys, that these are not polarity sensitive like a lot of LEDs I've seen. And if you've dealt with some LEDs, you know, you put the bulb in and then you'll go look at it and realize it's not on, have to take it all back out again, flip it around, put it back in and get the polarity correct on. What I've noticed with these is it doesn't matter. So notice we'll switch polarities here. So either way, we've got light, and that is pretty cool. Do this side again. Flip the bulb around, and it lights up. So you don't have to worry about orientation with these. And I'll tell you what, that is helpful. Okay, well, yeah. While the dome light's so much brighter, I actually think it's going to help me work and see inside the car. It's actually going to be more like a work light. So let's go ahead and switch it out. Take me a removal tool here to pop off this trim. Pop off your dome light cover. Of course, it's going to be hot if it's on. That one wasn't on very long, and yeah, we'll just pop this one right in. Pop the cover back on. Yeah, that's going to help me work. Let there be light. Really lit up that interior. That's pretty amazing, actually. Okay, damn, that might be too bright. That's bright. Okay, now we got my dome light installed / work light. We're gonna get straight to it. The first thing I want to do is actually replace the bulbs in my 2 aftermarket gauges down here for oil and water. I've already got some of the stuff loosened up, but really I want to put one red LED in one side because I don't want to use the red LEDs in that side or in these gauges, and keep the stock bulb in the other one. That way we just look at the difference. Okay, starting with my aftermarket gauges first, I went ahead and pulled these guys out so we can get behind it. And autometer simply has your same screw-in style caps. So what we've got in this one is the stock bulb that came with the autometer. So it's a 194 incandescent bulb with a rubber condom cap. That's going to make it look somewhat red. I'm actually going to keep this in this side, and we're going to place this one with the red 15 SMD LED bulb, which is this guy right here. Power us here. So again, what we've got here is the red 15 SMD LED on this side and the stock autometer bulb, incandescent bulb with the rubber red condom on it. I don't know if y'all can see this here. Okay, so obviously this isn't fully installed yet, but look at the difference. If you don't believe me, that's on. Trust me, it's on. You can go over there on the side. That is the red incandescent bulb that comes with the autometer gauge versus this guy here. That is the red SMD LED that we got from JDM. So that is pretty awesome because it is daylight outside and the garage is lit. And that is extremely bright. It's much redder here in the car. So that's got a really cool color to it. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get the other side done. Okay, I got both the red bulbs in my gauges down there, and yeah, it's pretty good. So we're going to get on to instrument gauge cluster here. And again, let me open up my door for my work light. There we go. So yeah, there's a set of screws up here, guys. I've gone through this 100 times. You guys work on your Fox, you know how to remove this thing. Remove the set of screws on the top of the bezel here. This will pull outwards like this, and you pull up and away like so. Get that out of the way to reveal your cluster. And then now simply there's 4 screws you're going to want to remove. There's one there, here, and here. And while we're at it, just to let you guys know, we are replacing every single bulb in the cluster, including the turn signals and the warning lamps here. So everything is going to be LED, even the bright indicator, as well as the backlit. So everything in here will be LED, and we'll see how it looks. So I want to go ahead and get these 4 out. Remove the clips behind. So you've got 2 electrical connections back behind this cluster. You've got one diagonally. It's right behind where my hand is here. So you'll just need to reach around this side first, pinch, and pull that out. It's got 2 clips on the back, so make sure you pinch, pull it out that way, and be careful pulling these things out because these have the old circuit boards in them. You can bend out the connectors, and you've got one connector here, so just reach back there, again, bend, push it out, and then you'll have to pinch the clip right behind your speedometer. In fact, you probably want to remove that first and pinch it, remove it out. So yeah, let's just get to that. Okay, putting the cluster face down onto the bench reveals all of our sockets that we need here. And real quick, I'm going to go over what all these sockets do. If you notice, these are all twist locks. Now is a good time to replace your twist locks. If you haven't noticed, these things get super old and brittle. In fact, right here, I've got an old one that ended up breaking on me. And I went to Amazon and purchased these little guys here. Now these were, let me show you here. Parts AM. I'll put a link down in the description of what these guys are on Amazon, the part number on Amazon. But what you can see here is, I think these were $10 for, gosh, I don't know, 10 of them. It's like, or $6 for 10. So, anyways, now's a good time to replace them. Seriously, these things corrode and will cause really bad contact on all your bulbs. I've had to replace these before on my Torino, just because I can never get a good bulb contact. In fact, when I bought the Mustang, I ended up using sandpaper on the existing ones instead of just replacing them. So now is a good time to replace them. So we're going to replace all the sockets here as well. But going over the cluster real quick, just to let you know from top to bottom, from left to right here, what all these sockets do. This one right here, in fact, this, and this, these three right here are going to be backlighting your speedometer. So these three are just for perimeter lighting of your gauge. These are your two turn signals here. This right here is your bright indicator. This one and this one are also backlight gauges for your tachometer. Then over here you've got your instrument panel, so you got your warning lights over here. And then right here, don't forget this one. This is left in the dash. The wiring harness is separate, but you'll go on and replace that one as well. So we're going to replace all these first with the white T10s, and we're going to leave the stock diffuser in place. And yeah, let's get to it. Okay, so we're going to replace everything with the T10 white LEDs. Now remember, we are counting on our stock red, and I guess if you've got an older Fox body, these will be green diffuser to light up the gauges. We're going to try these out just so you know, one or maybe even two of mine are so brittle they've fallen apart and have broken off inside of here, so no longer light up red. Half the cluster is more white anyways. That's another reason why we'll probably be going with the straight red LEDs, and we'll get to that second. First, let's go ahead and just pop all these out. Start replacing them. We're going to go ahead and get a whole bunch of new clips here. Okay, I'm going to put everything back together just so we can see what changing everything out to only the little white ones look like. Let's go check it out. Also, this is your check oil engine light. Don't forget to replace it. So yeah, it's a separate harness by itself and screws into the bottom of your warning light cluster there. So yeah, replace that one with a bulb too. Don't want to forget the HVAC lights here. Go ahead and take yourself a 1/4 inch drive. Get the 4 screws off here. Okay, so this is the white LEDs in the instrument cluster. And man, right off the bat you can see exactly where my diffusers are missing. So actually it looks really cool. In fact, if I were to go this route, I would actually go ahead and remove the rest of the diffuser. It looks like the diffuser here and up here is missing because it's white, and I got some red bleed through on this side and over here. But you can see how much brighter it is already, which looks really cool, even though in the mismatch. So it does have a little bit of an orangey pinkish hue, but I'm actually surprised on how red this side is, even with the white LEDs. But I mean, you can see how much brighter, those gauges already are with just the white. And I went ahead and put the red LED bulbs back in here. So yeah, it is a definite color mismatch, and I'm sorry that this is kind of an inconclusive test just because my red diffusers are cracked and broken. I imagine that's going to be the case for a lot of you guys as well. Most likely, a lot of you guys are going to be in the same position I'm in, where those red diffusers are cracked and gotten brittle with so much heat over the years that you're going to be running into the same issue that I'm running into with them. They've cracked and they've fallen out into the cluster and just completely turned to dust. And in that case, if you want to keep the colors, you're going to have to go with a color LED and remove the diffusers, which we're going to do next. So we'll check out the difference. Okay, one thing I also want to show is the indicator light there that is now LED, and also the turn signals. So the turn signal is nice and bright green. Not to forget our bright indicator, which is a nice bright blue now. It's also LED. Okay, so now we're going to try out the bright red LEDs. Before we do that, I want to go ahead and show you guys the back side. First thing you want to do is make sure these are going to fit. You'll notice that the size of these bulbs are quite a bit bigger, so what we want to be concerned is, or what we want to make sure, let me just pop one of these off here. There we go. That due to the increased length of these bulbs, that this section doesn't hit your red diffuser. Most likely it is, and going to be another case for us to go ahead and have to remove the red diffusers from the front. But any kind of LED bulb you guys are replacing this, do make sure that when this goes in, so you can see right there, I could feel the plastic, it's hitting it. So putting the red bulbs in. Yeah, so I can tell you right now that the size of these bulbs are going to be too big for the red diffusers. So before we go about replacing these, remember y'all are going to replace this one, that one, this one, and this one right here. So these 5 are going to be what actually lights up your gauge cluster, and these are the ones we're going to remove the diffusers on to put these big boys in. Okay. Got the last one out. Okay. Now with the lens back on, we're just going to flip it over and go ahead and put the red lights in. Okay, since this is the red LED swap, we're going to swap this one out as well here. Okay, slide on your cluster bezel back on here. Okay, so it is dark in the garage. I obviously can't see anything. Just got my bench light on. It's got a little bit of light outside, but all the lights are off in the garage. And let's just check this out here. So here we go. Oh man, yes. That's what I'm talking about. So that is the bright red that I was expecting and hoping for. That is awesome. Oh my gosh. Yeah, look how visible that is. And in case it's too bright, the dimmer still works really well. So dome light on there. Even with the dome light on, you can see how red and vibrant and visible this gauge cluster is. So that is pretty awesome, man. I don't know why the fuel gauge, I think that's just the factory, how it is from the factory, just because this side of your gauge cluster only has 2 gauges lighting it up versus this side's got 3 of them. So that extra light down in the corners is making a big difference on your temp gauge versus the fuel. So that's kind of weird, and that's nothing to do with, of course, the bulbs or JDM. That's just the design from Ford. And yeah, hopefully it'll be something we can do about that. I don't know, but otherwise it is awesome, man. Look at it matching the aftermarket oil and water temp gauges. So that's pretty cool. You can see next to each other here where we have the incandescent on the right hand side of the HVAC control, and you've got the red LED. And I know the camera is making this look white, almost yellowish. I promise you this is as red as it gets. The color correction, I'm sure, is jacking around with the camera a little bit right now. This probably looks a little bit more red in the camera, but this in person is a very bright red, almost a bright orange. And it's very, very visible. It's pretty awesome. Cool. Okay, and just flipping the garage lights on here. Yep, so we got the light back on in the garage. You can definitely see it is still nice and bright. So that's the red we want, especially with this year body style, and I like it. That looks really cool, man. I'm really happy with it. I'm surprised. So I'm sorry, despite what JDM says and despite what they're saying about using, you know, these guys instead of the bigger, brighter ones, I'm going to use the bigger, brighter ones. They say not to, or they didn't say not to. Obviously, they said you can do what you want, but you know, they did say, look, if you end up using these bulbs, make sure that you tell your viewers that you could probably have maybe some issues in the long run because they're going to get hot. And when they get hot, you're going to have some issues with bulbs, maybe flickering, burning out, stuff like that. I'm going to run them anyways because that's what I wanted. I really wish JDM offered this in red. But let's do a side-by-side comparison now of all three. Okay, so I got to tidy up the car a little bit, get everything cleaned up on it. But right now, I'm really impressed with what they've sent me. I do love the look of the bright reds, and I'm just going to go with it because I think it looks more vivid, and I want to keep the red look in the car because that's what it came with. So that is really cool. But let's take a second to look at all three of these videos together. Now remember, I recorded a shot with the camera hard set on the settings, so therefore it gives you an accurate representation of the lighting in between all three versus the incandescent and the white LED bulbs and then the bright red LED bulbs. So yeah, let's check out all three of them together. So first here you've got the stock incandescent bulbs in a gauge cluster. Next we've got the white LED bulbs switched out with the stock red diffusers in the gauge cluster. It gives kind of a pinkish look. In my case, it's definitely more white on one side because of the diffusers that are broken. And lastly, let's look at the setting with all the red LED bulbs in place. And here you can see all three of them side by side, and you can see how much brighter the LEDs give you. So to me, that's pretty cool. And so in conclusion, if you ask me, I think it turned out really good. In fact, I really liked the way it looked with just the white LEDs without the diffusers. When I saw that, I was kind of like, hey. And I've got enough LEDs that JDM sent me. They sent me a whole bunch of these little guys. So I've got plenty to try. I can put these also in the tail lights and the side markers because they're also use the same type bulb. So I really like the look of the white LEDs, and I might actually go back with that if I ever like to. I want to keep this stock look. To me, the red is a signature look of the 86 Mustang. It's got red gauges, it should have red, and that's why I like these bulbs here. So thank you JDM for sending these out to me. And guys, this is not crap quality. I'm not just saying that because they send these out to me for free. That has nothing to do with it. All in all, and to be 100% truthful to you, you have to actually pick one up and hold it, and I guess you just have to feel it to understand this is not Chinese felt junk. And again, I support all local companies, I support Texas-based organizations, and I support American companies as well. I'm proud to support people that are local to us. So thank you JDM for sending these out to me, and guys, check out their website. They are everything automotive. They got tons and tons of stuff, and the quality and their LEDs and stuff they're making for headlights is really nice quality stuff. So I really encourage you to get online and go to JDMastar.com and check out some of the content they have, because I'm super happy with it, and the camera does not do justice on how vivid and red my gauges are. They are glowing red right now. So I think I'm going to be very happy with these, and I will let you guys know how they hold up, despite JDM warning me against using these guys versus the little T10s here. But I think either way, either way I'm happy. So I like the gauges, I like the look of it. I'm sorry this is a really long video. I know it's way long, a lot of me talking, but seriously guys, go check it out. We got lots more stuff coming to the Mustang. It's going to get more exciting, I promise. We're going to be putting the turbo on this Christmas. It's coming this winter time. We're going to get turbo parts in. We'll be doing some more suspension work back in too, probably a pan hard bar. And yeah, thank you for watching. Please subscribe and follow me on Instagram. We'll talk to you later. Yeah, so on this episode, we're going to be upgrading all the lights in the car, all the interior lights to full LED.